Howdy folks, I'm Sassy Sassafras, saucily serenading 77 silly snails.
I'm Amber.
And here are 77 more silly snails for us to serenade. I don't know what kind of serenation we're giving to them, but it's probably like an ode to slime and shells. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my husband that his request for a dad-cation after the baby is born is completely selfish? So I'm a 21-year-old female and I'm currently 7 months pregnant with our first baby. And my husband, a 32-year-old male, has been super supportive throughout the pregnancy. He's attended every appointment, helps out around the house, and I really appreciate him for that. However, a few days ago, he dropped this ridiculous idea on me and I'm still reeling. He says that he wants to go on a dad-cation after the baby is born. Basically a vacation just for him. He wants to go somewhere with his friends to unwind after the stress of the pregnancy and getting ready for the baby. He actually had the audacity to tell me that since I'll get time off for maternity leave, that he should get some time off too, just to relax. I was honestly shocked. I told him that he's not the one pushing out the baby, and I'm the one who will be physically recovering, breastfeeding, and doing the bulk of the baby care in those early weeks. He just brushed off, saying that he can help when he gets back, but a few days away won't hurt. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I straight up told him that this dad-cation idea was completely selfish and unrealistic. He's a grown man and should understand that the baby will need both of us, especially in the first few weeks. He got defensive and said that I was overreacting and that he deserves a break too, since he's been so supportive during my pregnancy. Now he's sulking and barely talking to me, saying that I don't appreciate him or the sacrifices that he's made for me during this time. I feel like I'm losing my mind here. I've been dealing with all the physical and emotional ups and downs of pregnancy, and he's acting like he needs a reward for it. Am I missing something? I'm starting to feel guilty because he's been great, but asking for a vacation right after our baby is born just feels so wrong. So am I the jerk for telling him that he's being selfish and that a dad-cation is not happening? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. I am very concerned about his attitude here. And I would ask him how he would feel if he needed to have major surgery and, you just up and left on a vacation because that was so stressful and you needed a break.
So yeah, the idea where he's basically like, he wants to go somewhere with his friends to unwind and after the stress of the pregnancy.
I know, it's like you've been helping your partner, but she's the one who's been dealing with all the actual like physical issues and psychological issues of pregnancy. Like, sure, being a caretaker can be exhausting at times, but it's nothing compared to what she is going through.
Well, that's just it, right? Is like she is literally going through so much physical and emotional stuff right now. And he's like, oh, by the way, I'm the one who is really suffering here. And you get a break. You get time off.
Well, that too, like she's going to be working this entire time off,
Yeah.
recovering, taking care of the baby. And, the audacity of this person to be like, oh, well, it shows that he doesn't see parenthood as an obligation, like as a lifetime commitment. It's just something that he does when it's convenient, and then the rest of the time it's her job.
Yeah, I'm really afraid that that is the case here. It really kind of feels like that because he is treating this like she is basically just getting all this time off and being going to be just kind of relaxing and stuff like that while she gets her time off from work.
Yeah.
And when the reality is that she's going to be a mess because babies are a mess. They're hard. They require a lot of time and energy. And it just doesn't feel like he is really taking, like you said, this seriously, or the responsibilities of parenthood seriously.
Yeah, well, and may need physical help too, because no matter what method she gives birth by, there's likely going to be tearing or cutting. There's, some kind of surgery, sewing up involved.
Yeah.
And, she's going to be also coming off all of the pregnancy hormones, which is quite a time for a lot of people. She needs someone to be there for her physically and mentally during this time, as well as the baby, And so it just, again, it shows that he's not thinking about this as a partnership. He's not thinking about what's in the best interest of his wife or his child. He's only thinking about himself.
Exactly. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Incomplete Debt says, Welcome to single motherhood. And OP replies, thank you so much to everyone who's been supporting me and sharing their thoughts. It honestly means the world to me, and I'm feeling a lot better knowing that I am not alone in this. Your advice and kind words really helped me feel more confident about my decision. I mean, I'm glad that people are able to give OP some advice here because, like, this is a challenging situation. This is a difficult situation where she's being put under this, a lot of additional stress leading up to the birth.
Well, and the having children oftentimes, like even in the most egalitarian households beforehand, tends to shift things. I remember reading in The Beauty Myth by Naomi Wolf, she was talking about how, after she became a mother, all of a sudden, like their household went from one with like a, egalitarian split to her picking up, the majority of child care and house care duties.
Not demure, not mindful says he definitely planned it. 32-year-old gets 21-year-old pregnant, but also I don't know if this is even believable. I mean, I don't doubt the sincerity of this.
I mean, it happens all the time.
And Best Stressed One says, I get why a 30-something goes after a college-age woman. It's frustrating when the college-age woman falls for it. I didn't even pay attention to the ages here, but I guess, yeah, she is 21, he's 32.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't understand why people are being hard on her when she is the one who's the victim in all of this. Like, the way these things work is he probably presented himself as a very, nice person. And she took him at his word and at how he was acting. She didn't expect this. You can't blame someone for getting into a relationship that ends up switching like this. Yeah. It happens to lots of very smart, competent people.
Yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for continuing to wear makeup and a dress in my normal style around a friend who thinks her husband has a crush on me? I'm a 29-year-old female, and my friend, a 31-year-old female, has told me that her husband, a 35-year-old male, has a crush on me and has recently told her that he has fantasies over me. This already makes me feel very awkward, but now she has asked if I can stop wearing makeup and wear baggy clothes around him. We went out for dinner last night at a reasonably expensive restaurant with a few others, 7 of us in total, and she texted me when I got home saying that she was angry at me for looking hot after she asked me not to wear makeup. She's my friend and I want to do the right thing, but there's nothing that I could wear that is baggy that would have been suited for the restaurant that we were in. It was a Michelin star one. My style is very conservative, and I was wearing a very average dress with heels. I've written out several responses ranging from an apology to being quite rude, but want to sense check my thoughts here before I go back to her. I don't want to make life difficult for her, but what she's asking for feels unreasonable. Am I the jerk? Edit 1, thank you so much for all your responses. It's 4:21 a.m. here in the UK, so I will write out and send a response below tomorrow, and we'll update all of you here. Sorry, I can't respond to everyone. I didn't expect so many responses. Edit 2, while I was reading your responses, he just liked an old Instagram picture of mine from way back, a bikini pic. He's now blocked. Final update, Edit 3. I responded with the following. Sorry, it's taken me some time to reply, but I wanted to consider this properly and not react emotionally. I'm sorry you feel that way, but I don't think that it's fair or reasonable to ask me to change how I look because of your husband. My advice is to speak with your husband and work on your relationship because projecting your issues onto me isn't going to help you, but it will damage our friendship. You have nothing to be insecure about. You're the most beautiful person inside and out that I've ever met. I'm here for you if you want to talk about it, but ultimately I can't help if I'm smoking hot. Just kidding. And kisses. 5 minutes after I pressed the send button, she knocked on my door. She was already on her way with a bunch of flowers and cried and gave me a hug while apologizing. She told me that she was having problems and it was wrong of her to take it out on me. We've had a long chat and I'm going to be there to support my friend. Thank you all for your input. You've helped so much. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, I don't think Opie's in the wrong. I like the update. I'm glad the friend saw what the issue was. Her husband is being a creep, and that's on him. It's not on everyone else to cover up so as not to give him somewhere for his wandering eye to look.
Well, and the thing is this, if he has a wandering eye now, it's not going to matter if it's OP or
Hmm.
someone else, right? She can't control every single person in this world and tell them all to dress modestly around her husband because he has a wandering eye. And that's just the reality. He needs to be responsible for his own actions. And she, as understandably upset as she can't tell other people how to dress and how to act around her husband,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, at the end of the day, his actions are his own, and wearing, a nice dress and a little bit of makeup is not, there's nothing wrong with that. She shouldn't have to like, Opie shouldn't have to like hide herself in a paper bag anytime she's around him.
Yeah. Not to mention, she's already dressing pretty conservatively, it
Hmm.
sounds like, right? So, like you said, is she going to have to go around a potato sack and just to make sure that he's not interested in her? And I mean, again, like, I don't think it matters about the clothes, right? It's a matter of he is looking to cheat and he, has chosen OP as this target for one reason or another. And what do you think of him telling his wife about this?
I mean, I think it's gross. I think he's being a gross person, and either he's just like really callous, or he could be trying to drive a wedge in their friendship. I don't know.
Or maybe he was trying to get,
Hint at a threesome.
yeah, hint at a threesome.
I mean, he could be trying to do that. That would go probably under the very callous. I mean, I think no matter what, he's just not a nice person. He's not a compassionate person.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. Speaking of modesty, our next letter is titled, My Fiance's Weird Obsession with Modesty is Embarrassing Me. I'm a 27-year-old female, and my fiance, a 29-year-old male, has recently become weirdly obsessed with the concept of old money. He genuinely believes that billionaires are more humble than regular rich people, and that they live the secret, understated lifestyle that he now strives for. I don't hate the idea that my partner values success or is trying to be more financially responsible. You would think that this would be about his job or moving up in his career, but it's not. This has nothing to do with his actual career growth or financial planning. Instead, it's about adopting a bunch of weird personality quirks and habits that he thinks make him look secretly rich. Here are just some examples. He's been driving the same old Honda for years and is quite literally falling apart. At best, it's made us late for various events, and at worst, I don't feel safe in it. But he refuses to get a new car. He says driving this beat up car makes him look low key like a billionaire because, according to him, the truly rich don't flaunt their wealth. And to top it off, he has actual bumper stickers saying money talks, wealth whispers, which kind of negates the point of his whole stealth wealth thing, which I haven't even pointed out because I don't have the energy, but it's just embarrassing and it looks so ridiculous. He started dressing like he's deliberately trying not to look rich, which again wouldn't be an issue if it wasn't so extreme. For our anniversary dinner, I wore a nice dress, nothing too expensive, but definitely not casual, and he showed up in a frayed sweatshirt. When we were texting later that night, I mentioned that it bothered me, and he sent me a picture of Bill Gates in a turtleneck as if it somehow explained everything. I said that I didn't get the point, and he said that real rich people don't dress to impress. But Bill Gates isn't even old money, so this isn't even consistent. It just felt like an excuse for him not to put any effort in. The most embarrassing incident happened last week. We were invited to a formal engagement party for one of my close friends. The dress code was essentially cocktail dresses, suits, etc. I had mentioned to him ahead of time that this would be a formal event, and he agreed to wear a suit. Instead, he decided last minute to wear this awful pair of old loafers, a wrinkled button-up shirt, and some khakis that honestly looked like they hadn't been ironed since high school. I was mortified. When I asked him what happened to wearing a suit, he told me that real wealth doesn't have to play dress up, and that looking too polished would make him seem like he was aspiring rather than already being a part of the elite. At this party, people definitely noticed, and not in a good way. Some of my friends even asked me if everything was okay with him, thinking that maybe something was wrong or that he was going through some kind of phase. What really pushed me over the edge was what I found out after the party. One of my friends told me that they saw him quite literally slipping the waitstaff $100 bills throughout the night. Apparently, he had thought that it made him look low-key generous, like he was some undercover billionaire who tips without making a scene. But he was making a scene. People noticed, and it came off as performative and awkward. Not only that, but even though he definitely does well in his job, he doesn't have hundreds of dollars laying around just to be handing out at random. When we got home, he said that he truly was just trying to be generous and that I was overreacting and being shallow for caring about what people thought. And that if I really loved him, I wouldn't care how he dressed or acted. I try to explain that there's a difference between being humble and just being disrespectful to people who invite you to formal events, not to mention actively trying to look humble, and if it meant that much to him, maybe he could quietly donate to a charity instead. I also snapped that he didn't have much that he needed to be humble about, but I was at the end of my rope. He didn't take it well, and now I also feel awful. Our relationship has never really had any problems besides this, and he genuinely is a great guy otherwise. Am I overreacting to this weird phase? Alright folks, what do you think?
I mean, it looked performative because it is performative. He wants to cosplay as a billionaire, make everyone think he's rich, but he's not actually doing anything to increase his wealth. He's actively giving it away, so he gives the impression of being rich.
Yeah, well, and then his whole bit here about how I shouldn't really, that OP really shouldn't care what other people think,
But
while
the
simultaneously him caring exactly how other people think about him.
yeah, that's it exactly. Is he's doing this to try and make people think he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
A subtle billionaire in their midst, and he's not fooling anyone. But more than that, he's also being financially irresponsible. And if OP wants to have a long-term future with him, that affects her as well.
Yeah.
Like, if they were at the point where they had joint finances, this would be a major breach, just handing over hundreds of dollars without, discussing that beforehand.
Well, and then on top of that, like the whole not wearing a suit to a formal event, right? If you look at billionaires and look at them at fancy events, they're not wearing turtleneck sweaters, right? They are wearing suits and ties because the dressing up is part of the requirement of high society, right? And not to say that clothes mean a whole lot, right? But part of the idea that he has here is that, oh, they never dress up because they're always like understating their wealth. It's just matter of factly not true. You can find pictures of Bill Gates wearing a suit. Plain and simple. So I think that he really needs to reflect on why he's doing this and why he feels it's so important for people to regard him as a billionaire. Are there billionaires at these parties who he thinks that he's going to impress?
Well, he wants everyone to think he's better. It seems like he wants people to assume that he's loaded. He doesn't want to actually do anything to earn more money. And not everyone, most of us do not have the ability to become billionaires in the first place. Like, very, very few people can do that. So, not faulting him for not being a billionaire, but it just seems like he's so obsessed with image, instead of actually doing things to better himself or better the world or anything. Like, I think OP's idea of donating to charity if he wants to be generous is a great one.
Yeah.
But it's very clear that he wants his name on things. He wants people to see him donating money so that they can assume he's really rich.
Yeah. Well, and I think OP needs to maybe he needs to go into therapy, or maybe OP needs to have a long conversation with him about why he feels this is so important. But there's some kind of underlying thing here where he needs to think about why he's doing this, because this obsession with wanting to be regarded as wealthy is just not healthy or sustainable.
No, it's not. Especially if he's giving money away at every party, money that he doesn't have.
Yeah, you know how else billionaires have billions? They don't give away hundreds of dollars that they don't have outside of their budget because they want to look generous, right? Plain and simple, right? I mean, giving away $100 if you have billions of dollars is easy, right? It's not easy when you don't have billions of dollars. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Jack the Jacker 92 says, this would be a perfect plot for George on Seinfeld. All of this is just perfect. Not sure how to share this to Reddit right Seinfeld, but this is just amazing. And OP replies, it's funny that you say that because he went through a phase for like a month where he would end any strong opinion he stated with Jerry. Like, pineapples don't belong on pizza. On pizza, Jerry. Not an actual quote, but I'm just thinking of something the internet freaks out about. And Mermaid 467 says, my friend Kay has more money than God. She wears the same clothes often, but they are beautifully made, extremely high quality, and excellent taste. She is always impeccably dressed for whatever occasion, from super casual to white tie gowns. She could have an obscenely huge wardrobe, but she likes to wear and re-wear things that she loves. She splurges on art and travel. She tips well, and apparently she would be appalled by $100 BS. She's very smart, very beautiful, and very interesting, and profoundly kind and generous. And OP replies, maybe I should be engaged to Kay instead. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
How did the cucumber become a pickle?
Well, you see, Amber, what you do is you take, it depends, like, are we doing, like, cold refrigerator pickles? Because cold refrigerator pickles, easy. You take a washed cucumber, you throw it in, you slice it up, you throw it into some vinegar with some herbs, like, pickling stuff, and then you got yourself a pickle.
It went through a jarring experience.
I mean, that is true. That is actually very true.
I thought your sadistic tendencies would kick in there. You like to torture poor cucumbers.
That's not torturing a cucumber. It has no ability to be tortured.
Well, you like to make jokes about those kind of things.
And folks, I have Earl Grey. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy special Sunday, folks. I hope your Sunday is off to a very special start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it on being wealthy.
The size of your heart matters more than the depths of your pockets.
I think that's a really good moral. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!